Drop the clutch, hit the gas. Rally Radio, where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Yeah.
You're now tuned into Bars and Hoops Radio. Where the world of hip-hop and sports live.
Dropping the clutch and then I hit the gas. Wheels screeching, tires burning, I'm flying past. Gotta get home quick, don't wanna miss the class. They schooling you on whips and how to make them fast. Talking about everything from cars to planes. What's hot, what's next, and how to flip the game. They talk in my language, we speak the same. That whip talk complex, but yet they keep it plain. From the news, the interviews, they keep it cool. They give reviews, everything from parts to tools. Can't lose, come to whips, they not no fools. Don't miss the show, the start time is noon. The bearded one, S.I. Sean, they crazy though. You can't miss it, tune in to Rally Radio.
Where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Whoop, 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 whoop. What's going on, everybody? You know how we get down, man. It's the bearded one. We are in the building. It was a hustle and a half, but we did make it. I had to bring you this automotive news. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You already know what it is. You know where to find us, man. Early. It is one of those days. And if you're not paying attention, if you're not down with us, don't forget you can find us on Instagram at Rally Radio Podcast. We are here. We are making it happen one day at a time. But with that being said, we got so much going on out here in the automotive industry today. It's definitely getting crazy out here. There's a lot of things going on outside of just autos and the politics and everything that's filling in on the inside. A lot of things we're going to talk about. Greedy Honda dealers. We're going to talk about dealers in general and how they kill the automotive community especially when a new sports car come out or just a car that's in high demand. You start to see them adding all kind of different taxes and different things on it, and it is the worst. To me, it is the worst. It kills that car automatically. And we got some ones we could talk about where we've seen the dealership go ham on people that really wanted the car. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. We apologize for the tardiness, but we are in the building. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in, paying attention. We are already in the building. Let's go. With that being said, man, it's definitely out here today, man. We are here in the building, but like I said, just the greedy Honda dealers, greedy dealers in general. Now, as far back as I can remember, we've always seen them raise prices on cars that the dealership felt was in high demand. I remember just recently, the most recent one I could think about is the Challenger, how the Dodge dealership started to go out of hand with it. It was like, you know what? You got to pay for this. You got to pay for that. And it's like you really started to see for yourself what was going on with a lot of these dealerships behind closed doors. Now, also, there was a point where the Type R, the Honda Civic Type R, was definitely one of those cars that kind of almost suffered from the dealerships doing the markups, man. I mean, every time you turn around, they're doing more markups. They're doing different things. So now, when you jump into it now, you're starting to see that starting to die down a little bit because a lot of the cars that are coming out, just keep it a buck, they boring. You know, they're not really cars that people are going after. However, you do see it happen at the BMW dealerships as well. You start to see it happening over there. BMW dealerships are definitely doing what they want to do. So it's still happening. But now it looks like it's happening with the Honda Prelude. Now, the Honda Prelude is just hitting the streets, the 2026 version, not even hitting the streets yet. It looked like they're just getting this thing to dealerships. They've been talking about it for a little while, and it looks like the dealer markups are happening. And it's a Prelude. Now, let's get into that a little bit. At being a Honda Prelude, obviously, we haven't seen a Honda Prelude. I believe the last one was from 97 to 2002. We had the Prelude Type SH that was actually around for a little while. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. We appreciate y'all. Let's get it. And that was the last time we seen the Prelude. So it's been about 23 years since we've seen the Honda Prelude grace the dealership floors. And now it looks like they're doing it again. You're starting to see some of these Honda dealers try to get upwards of $60,000 out of these Honda Prelude. Now, if you haven't seen them before, I would implore you to go to Google and actually look them up. It's a nice looking car. I remember Honda said they would never go two-door again, but it looks like they decided to do it anyway. The sticker price on the Honda Prelude 2026 is going to be $43,195. It looks like they've already got dealerships already running the market to $60,000. That is crazy. They shooting for 60 grand already. So now what does that tell you as far as uh the Honda Prelude or just dealerships in general are concerned? They are doing what they want to do once again, and that is going to hurt this car. It's going to hurt the Honda Prelude. It is. It is. It actually did a number on a 400Z, which is why you probably don't see too many of those in a while. And now it looks like Nissan wants to go to built to order. So it's like now they don't got to kind of deal with it. I guess if you build the car to order and the dealership orders it for you, I would like to believe they wouldn't add their little markup on it because that's not what you agreed to when you sat there and you built the car. Or if not, you could go to different dealerships and have them build it and see which ones are really going to charge you that fee. But now, like I said, it looks like these dealerships, we talking a markup of 17 grand, and it's showing up on Reddit out there in the internet. Check it out. I'm telling you, it's looking crazy. Now, with the car being 43,000, and me right there, I'm feeling like that car is overpriced to not be manual. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like the Honda Prelude is gonna hurt because it is not manual. You need a manual to me in order to make this thing really rock. Honda feels different. They feel like they got a good car, hybrid, about 200 horsepower, and not for nothing, it has a lot of different things on it that kind of like invokes you into driving the car. They talked about how, it has the bigger brakes in the front, obviously. It has so many different like with your transmission shifting and everything, like really like makes it feel sporty, I guess. But I just feel like they should give people a manual option when it comes to the Prelude. I mean, every Honda should have a manual option, in my opinion, except for fully electric. I understand, but they should all be able to come manual because I feel like that is where people fell in love with the Honda. From the Civic to the Accord to the Prelude, they fell in love with them because they were manual. So there's been a lot of people complaining on the internet about how they're marking up on the Honda Prelude. And I can't lie, even just seeing it from my own two eyes, I was like, wow. Are we talking 17, 18,000? Now, who is buying that car at a markup that high? Not too many people going to be buying that car when the markup is that high. If it looks like it's going to be that much, a lot of people are not going to jump in and buy this Prelude. And then what happens to the Prelude after that? Now the Prelude looks like it's going to be a bust. It's going to be a loss. Nobody's going to really want it. And there you go. Now Honda is left with a bad feeling about making sports cars. And there we go. They never make another one. Now we left with four-door EV boxes, and they're gonna say, well, when we had the car out there, you guys never bought in. And that's not really the truth. That's not really the truth. We really wanted the car, but a $17,000 markup could only hurt the auto itself. This is what I'm saying. What's going on? Shout to my guy Darth Spalding in the building. You already know what it is, man. Shout to my guy Jay. Said that Prelude is a part's been special from the suspension to the engine. I ain't gonna lie to you, right? I did, however, think the same thing. I was like, you know what? They really like just put this thing together. But I gotta give them at least they made it. I thought this thing was through. I thought that was through. Shout to everybody tuned in, paying attention. Shout to Aventador Hunter. Let's go. He said, good night. Let's go. Shout to Omar Sales in the building. He said, wait, there's two people watching this. It's all good. Trust me, we got more people going in a minute. Let's go. Shout to Pablo, Fernando Castillo. You got people tuning in as we speak. Shout to my guy, Jay. Like I said, we appreciate everybody tuning in, rocking with us. You already know what it is. But with that being said, you got to look at it like that. The dealerships kill the cars. Dealerships kill cars. How many times have we seen a car come out and people actually, and you're not seeing them on the street first, and then from there, the company's like, yeah, we're not going to produce it because you know what? A lot of people didn't buy in on this. And that is the real problem. That is the real problem. You have people who are actually creating the cars you want. Let's take Toyota, right? And the GR Corolla. There was a point where you started to see some Toyota dealerships mark up the GR Corolla, the same way they marked up the GR Supra, especially the manual, the last of the manual ones. You've seen it so many times. It's like, how could we really avoid it? Shout to my guy Jay. He said Honda looked at the 2G Eclipse and said, we gonna cook. That's a fact. it gets to that point where you hate to see a lot of these cars come out because you know that they're either not going to sell, and it has nothing to do with the enthusiasts. It has more to do with the dealership. See, in America, they can actually mark up these prices, and there's not too many things you could do about it other than probably either complain to the Better Business Bureau or just not buy the car from them. And that hurts because now, what if that's the car you really want? Are you willing to pay the markup? I'll give you a quick story. And I went to go buy my Type R. I was like, you know what, man? I want my Type R. I want it. And when I got there, they had a set price for the Type R. And he was like, listen, if you don't buy it, he's like, then other people will buy it. And I thought about it. And there was one I had already walked away from just off the strength that the dealership was actually charging as much. And I just said, you know what? I drew them down as much as I could as far as like, you know what? I'll pay this. He was like, no, well, you pay this. We actually sat there and we had our little our powwow. And I actually ended up getting it for a good price. Shout to my guy, Zah. What's going on, Zah? And I actually ended up getting it for a good price. But it definitely was not easy. And you got to say to yourself, could it have killed the Type R? I believe people wanted the Type R so bad they was going to pay whatever price. But a car like the Prelude, nah. I don't think it's that much of a fanfare where people are like, yo, I need this car. Like if it's 17 and 18,000 over, even 5, I think for that, once you start staring down a barrel of 50,000, you could go get yourself an Acura Integra Type S. You could get yourself something real good, for that price. And that's where I feel like Honda hurt themselves. Like they put themselves in this position because now it's like you probably like 5,000 away from another car that could be potentially better. Or if somebody up at the 10 grand, you just not messing with it. You're like, I'm not buying it. I don't care what nobody say. So it just goes to show it's like it could get ugly at any time. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. I think the more that they do this, the more they're just gonna hurt the automotive world. They're gonna hurt it. It's gonna get to a point where nobody's gonna want it. They're not gonna say, oh, you know what? It's a Honda. I had a Prelude when I was a kid. You're gonna look at it and say, that's a lot of money. And when you do that, you're just gonna be like, I'm not doing it. I'm not jumping out the window. I'm not copping it at all. But I'm gonna tell you, I don't know what Honda's gonna do, but they cannot allow this to happen. They're gonna end up losing sales, and they're gonna lose a lot of cars that way. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You know how we get down, man. Shout out to my guy Flip. Shout out to Derek Green. You already know what it is. Shout out to everybody who's rocking with us. I'm gonna say it's definitely gonna hurt them in the long run. Definitely. They got to make sure that they're doing the right thing, because if not, they're gonna hurt the brand. And then that's going to be that. Nobody's going to be like, checking for a Prelude. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into our weekly specs. Just wanted to get into that real quick. And don't forget, drop it in the comments. Is there a car that you're willing to spend over, or matter of fact, anything for that matter? Is there anything that you're really willing to pay that much over price in order to achieve it or get it? Drop it in the comments below. You already know what it is, man. It's the bearded one here. We're going to set it off with our weekly specs. Let's go.
Weekly specs. Auto news for all the listeners, only on Rally Radio.
All right, y'all know how we get down, man. This is the bearded one here, Rally Radio. We're making it happen. Well, we're going to talk about this next one that we're going to see where the dealerships actually killed them as well. It looks like the Nissan Z. The Nissan Z, for those who haven't seen it, the 400Z. We hadn't seen a Z car. The last one was the 350Z that we ended up getting. And, that car had a high fanfare. It's a Z. It has a cult-like following, so it definitely was going to sell. Now, when they brought this 400Z out, even myself, I was like, you know what? I think I want one. I'm going to end up trying to get one. But the more that you started moving around to some of these dealerships, you started to see that, it's just not going to be easy. They're not going to have a lot of these just laying around. And if they do, they're going to try to charge you through the wazoo for it. Shout out to my guy Seneca, tuned in. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in. Shout out to Jay. He said the one thing Tesla did right was get rid of the dealership process so you could just order the car from the factory to the driveway. That's a fact. That's a fact. I hate to say it, but as long as we have these kind of like dealerships around, it's going to get bad. And like I said, for the 400Z, it's another situation where it's not going well. It says the Nissan Z is going to go build the order so you can get the specs that you want. Now, when you let them tell it like that, they'll say, oh, well, in order to get the Z that you want, we're going to build it because you don't feel like you should have any 400Zs just sitting on the dealership floor. Now, let's be honest here. The 400Z has outsold the Supra this year to the point where the GR Supra now is in its last edition, and they will be calling that one a can towards the end of the year. The Nissan 400Z has outsold them, but neither one of them cars have really sold the way that we think they should. And a lot of them have not sold because of the dealerships. So they're going to say, you know what, you could build it to spec. And if you've ever built a car to spec, you can either do it with the dealer, or you could actually be at home building this car, print up the page and bring it into them for yourself. Me personally, that's where I actually tried to do when I was in the hunt for a Dodge Challenger. I really wanted this car real bad. And I mean, I built it to spec, but the only thing that stopped me from getting it was that one of the specs was they didn't have any manual anymore, which is crazy. Shout out to my guy Seneca. He said the Z should have had a VR 3.8. Now, if they would have did that, I don't know if they would have made it manual. And you know why? Because that would have made the GTR look a little bad at that point. Because why don't the GTR come in, or it never came manual? We all know the transmission is set up different for the GTR, especially when it comes to placement and weight distribution. That was a big thing for them. But, oh, man, could you imagine it came with the 3.8? That would be crazy. Shout to Seneca. So now they're talking about building it to spec. Now, I built the 400Z myself because, like I said, I was in the market for one at one point. And the thing I liked about it is the base. You could get the base model manual 6-speed. Now, if you wanted to continue building, you could get the raised wheels. You could get they had all kind of different parts for it, different interior and everything. But at the end of the day, you spent your money. It probably added another like $6,000-7,000 to the sticker if you was really going to go to the upper echelon of the Z. But now it's like, are they really even going to be selling like that? I mean, like if they're built to spec, there's a lot of things that a lot of people won't get. Because if you get every option on the car, you already know that it's going to come with so many different things, or it could cost you more money. Now, when you go to resell it, if you don't have certain options, it actually drives the price down, which in my opinion is crazy, but it does happen. So now, if you're going to buy a car that's, let's say, not totally specced out, like, I mean, it doesn't have the wheels, it doesn't come with the clutch, it doesn't come with let's say the interior. A lot of them, the interior for 400Z, you was able to change the colors of the interior. Like, I mean, those are little things that people are really not. If you're a car enthusiast, those are the things that won't bother you. But will they be able to sell them in the aftermarket? I don't know. And it looks like Nissan is doing it because it's saving them money. We already know that Nissan was already, it was almost belly up, man. They went to Honda and they tried to get a deal. And one of the executives was saying that Nissan only got like another year before they actually fall through. So they had to do what they had to do. But it looks like they're definitely starting to make their way. They're starting to understand like how to get back around. And even though they're not talking about building a new GTR, probably eventually will. But at the same time, we got to wonder about that too. We got to wonder, are they really, really, really going to do it? It remains to be seen. But what's your thoughts on it? Drop your comments below. Do y'all think that the 400Z should be built to spec? And if that's the case, if it works, do you think a lot of other dealers are going to follow this? Do you think that they're going to do that too? They're going to say, you know what, we're going to build things to spec and just have you spec it out. To me, it's a slippery slope. You don't know if you really want to do that because you really kind of want to like get these cars and get them off the lot. Like, why not be able to get them off the lot? You have the money in hand. You know how long you got to wait sometimes? Don't let it be like another COVID situation like what I faced when it came down to the Charger. There was a point where they had so many, they stopped making certain things because of the chip shortage. They was like, listen, we could get you the Hellcat Challenger Auto. They said, we're not making it manual, but we can get you a Scat Pack manual. And I didn't want it. I said, nah, I don't want that. I said, if that's the case, then I don't want no car. And it's almost it really, 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 really hurt me to walk out the dealership without it because I wanted it really bad. But they said that they wasn't speccing it out. They said, listen, we could get you this one auto. We have one sitting over here, but as of right now, that's kind of all where you are. And I'm like, that to me was one of those like things where you want to deal with. You just say to yourself, you know what? I don't want it. So that's what ended up happening. I ended up going to get a Type R after that. So that's kind of where that came from. But with that being said, shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You already know what it is. It's the bearded one here, man. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that they should actually spec out this car and have it in the dealership or not? I think that's you gotta really wonder that one right there. We gotta understand that sometimes the best thing that they could do is have it on the dealership floor, because to me, out of sight, out of mind as well. If you don't see them, you don't see a copy of them over there on the dealership floor. You see a model, you're not gonna really want it. So we'll see how that plays out, man. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. And it looks like we got some other news coming up too as well. The Toyota, now we've seen it, the Toyota GT that we all been waiting for. It looks like we finally got a name for this thing. Shout to Seneca. He said low dealership drops to create demand and rest. Yeah, it does. Shout to Donnell Chrome. He said, yeah, they should have it. I appreciate that. Let's go. Shout to my guy Chrome tuned in. Let's go. I mean, it does work though. Shout to Seneca. He said coupe demo for the test drive. Okay, so just have one on there. You can test drive it and then spec it out. That's actually genius. That should be the way that they should go about it, because at the end of the day, if people feel like, I remember we was going to buy, and something as simple as a chair or something like that, but you may order it, but what if when you get it, you don't like it when you sit in it? Imagine buying a car like that. So shout to Seneca, you're 1,000% right. If they keep one on the dealership floor, let you test drive and everything like that, and then you come back and you spec yours out, they could definitely sell a whole bunch more. But shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention, man. On to the next topic. It looks like the Toyota GR. Now, we've been hearing about this car a lot, the GR supercar. Toyota put out a teaser video, and it looks like the teaser video shows the Toyota now GR GT supercar. Looks like that's the name. And when you look at the video, at first you see the Toyota 2000 GT. Now, that was very interesting because I feel like they were showing a lot of heritage when it came down to the Toyota. So first, coming around the racetrack, you see the 2000 GT, which is crazy, right? From there, you see the Lexus LFA come around the 2000 GT on the racetrack. And as you're looking at the Lexus LFA, here comes the Toyota GR supercar come around. And they kill the video after that and say December 5th, they're going to be releasing this car. I cannot wait. So obviously we already heard that this thing is going to have the twin turbo V8 in it. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, y'all got to make sure that y'all tune in to Toyota December 5th. It looks like they definitely going to have a shock for everybody. It looks like this is where they're going, and I love it. I can't wait to see exactly what's going on with it. But the Toyota GR GT, this is the name of this supercar that we've been waiting for about what? 2 years now. We've been waiting for this car to come out now for 2 years. And not only that, they've shown us different specs and different cars. They do the Goodwood challenge in Europe, and as they did it, where they drive down this little strip, they actually brought out two of them. They brought out one with an engine turbo. We don't know, because Toyota didn't let nobody look at the specs. They brought out one with an engine and one that we think is electric, but we're not sure. And Toyota has been tight-lipped on this car. On this Toyota GR GT3 concept, they have been quiet. And early reports were saying that it will wear a Lexus badge. So we always thinking that Lexus is going to get this supercar. Toyota, it looked like they changed their mind once again. They done went with their GR brand, their Gazoo Racing brand. So we're going to see how this plays out. I can't wait to see all you see, like I said, in the video, if you get a chance. And I'll put up a link in the Instagram. We'll definitely drop a video on the Instagram later. When you look at the video, you see the 2000 Toyota, the Toyota GT 2000 or 2000 GT on the racetrack, on the test track. And as you're looking at it, and I mean, like, thing of beauty, we all know the 2000 GT spurned a lot of different sports cars from it by itself. From that, you see the Lexus LFA come up on the side of it, and you already know how that sounds. A classic V10. Classic. And you already know the Yamaha tuned exhaust. It sounds great. Once that LFA comes out, you see the Toyota GR GT come by and they spec it out real quick. Boom, they kill it. And they say December 5th, they're going to actually show it. So I can't wait. I think that is, I'm looking at this thing and I'm trying to figure out the price. And I think that's going to tell you if it's for the people or it's for the upper echelon, depending on the price. If this thing is over 150,000, which I kind of believe it might, I kind of believe it is going to be up there. And this is the first time we got the chance to really see this thing without the camouflage tape and everything that they put all over the car. It just looks beautiful. And I'm going to tell you, I can't wait to see what they're going to do. I'm tuned in December 5th. December 5th. This is when they said they're going to release it. They said the all-new combustion engine is believed to feature a pair of twin turbos and a 4-liter displacement. However, Toyota has yet to release firm details about the new V8 and hasn't said whether it be a hybrid. I hope they stay away from the hybrid business personally, but we talking about a Toyota V8 twin turbo, hopefully, on a new car. Well, let's just hope that we just waiting on the price. The LFA, as you all know, was $375,000, but it was, I mean, in my opinion, a lot of people looked at the LFA like, oh, it's just a Lexus. No, it was worth every penny. They spent as much as they can to tune it, to make sure that it was damn near perfect, you know? So, I mean, if they talking anywhere around 150,000 for this car, you may see a couple on the street. But I think that's it. I think if you go anything higher than that, I believe that a lot of people it's going to be a dream. It's going to be a dream car that nobody could really see. You know what I mean? Shout to my guy, Miller Time NYC in the building. You already know what it is. Shout to Miller. Let's go, Miller. But I really think that that's where it's going to be. It all depends on the price. If the price is right, oh, man. The price is wrong. Oh, man. It's not going to be pretty. But you figure if the price is up there, they probably already spoken for. Like how a lot of these cars are like already, they like the Ferrari, the newest Ferrari. They already had all 375 cars sold already before they even looked that direction. So it just goes to show how quickly a lot of these cars could just be gone. Like it don't even matter like what we want. They like, you know what? We already sold it. So you ain't got nothing to worry about. Nobody want to hear that, but it is what it is. A lot of people are just going to buy this car just off the strength. And in other news, it looks like BMW is killing off the BMW Z4. Now, this doesn't shock me because the Supra is done. And we all know the Supra was somewhat based on this 2026 BMW Z4. Somewhat. And it doesn't shock me, man. But again, you know, they're getting rid of all of the driver's cars. This is another one that's definitely made its mark, was around for 24 years. Definitely considered a driver's car before its earlier counterpart, which was the Z3. Definitely was a driver's car. The only option on the final edition of this BMW Z4 is going to be a choice between a 8-speed automatic, thumbs down, or a 6-speed manual transmission, thumbs up. It looks like it was late to the manual game for this car, but when it did go manual, it must be something great to drive. I've never driven one, but I will say when it comes down to BMW, they don't seem like they balked on anything, you know, like they really went all the way. The Z4 final edition is going to cost you about $78,000, and that's including the destination fee. But now we're talking about dealer markups. We're talking about a car that is going to be the final edition. Is going to cost, it's going to they're going to add about another 10 to 20,000 on top of it again. And here we go with it killing another car. Even the Lexus 500, the LS 500, or that's going to be coming out soon. That's only going to be 100 of them. Imagine what they're going to do, what the dealer markups are going to be on that. So it's only a matter of time, man. It is only a matter of time. It only goes to show that they are only, I always say that the sports car guys keep the dealership afloat. I've always said this, right? The regular cars, they in and out of the dealership. People come in there, they looking for the cheapest thing they can get their hands on. A lot of times the cars that are totally specced out, they stay there for a little while because people are not really trying to spend that money. And now, with the prices of the cars going up, and I mean upwards of 50,000, it's like people just trying to get the cheapest deal they could buy. And now you get the sports car in there. Now only the sports car guys are the ones that's like, you know what? I'll spend the money. I don't care. And they will. We will spend it, and they know it. So you know what? They, instead of making a little 30,000 off the car, they're making 40,000 off the car because they adding a $10,000 markup. And you know what? A lot of guys, even though they don't want to pay it, or a lot of sports car people don't want to pay it, they end up paying it. We end up paying it. We end up buying it at that price. And you know what? It's going to be crazy. I hate to say it. Shout to Milton, like he said, it's going to be ridiculous. There's nothing we could do about it. There's nothing we could do about it for the time being. The only thing you could do is not buy the car. But who really misses out? Them or you? Them or you? Because if you don't buy it, there's going to be somebody else up the block that's going to buy it. So you got to start looking at and saying to yourself, how bad do I want this car? Sometimes, especially at my age and all of the car guys that we drive around with, they all feel the same way. A lot of times, the next car that you're going to get is going to be that forever car. That's the one that you're going to have for a long time because it's only a matter of time before they even kill performance. But now, it looks like you really gotta decide quick. You got to decide quick. You got to say to yourself, is this the one that I want? Because they talking final edition. Like, there will be no more. So now what does that say for the used ones? The used ones market done went up. Same as the GTR. When they said they're not making no more GTR, prices went up. 400Z made the spec. Soon they won't be making that anymore. Price is going to go up. Type R. Even the Type R is coming to an end in Europe. It's only a matter of time before it comes to an end in America. And there you go. What do we have after that? You know? So now you're looking at used cars, even though Ford is still producing, Porsche is still producing, Toyota is still producing, you still, the pickings are getting slim because they understand that people want these cars and they're willing to pay. When I was in my Type R hunt, I seen so many Type Rs. I mean, I remember one in particular. It was championship white. Oh man, I was like, first I wanted to stay away from the championship white Type Rs, but I really wanted the yellow. But I said, you know what? I like this one. It's clean. It was used. So call the dealership and I'll go to check them out. I'm like, listen, I'm interested in the white Type R. Already had the loan, everything ready to go. All I got to do is sign the paperwork and get out the door. These guys were telling me, they said, you have to take insurance on the paint. I'm stupid now. They said, listen, you have to take insurance on this paint in order to walk out with this car. And I'm like, insurance on the paint? What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, from the tree sap and bugs. And I said, so y'all going to do like a perf? Like y'all going to wrap the car for me or whatever? And it was like, nah, it's just the insurance. I said, well, entertain me. How much is the insurance? And you know what they told me? The insurance for that paint that they $3,000. They added $3,000 to the sticker price of the car just for paint. They was like, oh, and then destination because we had to get it from here. And when it was all said and done, they marked that car up, I want to say almost $15,000 just to get you in the door. And I said to myself, then I said, these guys are like crazy. Either they'll sit on that Type R until they can't sell it, or they're just gonna come to their senses and sell it for what it really need to be sold for. So a lot of these dealerships are just killing people out here, man. They really are. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. It's unfair to a lot of the people who actually want these cars, but it is happening, man. It's happening at an alarming rate. And if you're not paying attention, trust me, they will get you. With that being said, we're going to step right into our next little segment that we got here before we get up out of here. Don't definitely want to take up your whole Sunday. There's a lot of things going on. But I got a question for a lot of you car heads out there. And this is actually, I want to get your true, shout to Seneca. He said paint insurance is crazy. Yeah, I couldn't believe that's what he was talking about. Paint insurance. Paint insurance. He said, yeah, we're going to have to charge you because we got to make sure the paint can stay. I was like, come on, I couldn't believe it. Like I said, I hurried out the door after that. But with that being said, we're going to step to our next topic. And I got a question for y'all, and I want y'all to help me answer this. Ferrari has recently came out and said that the V6 was superior than the V12, was superior over the V12. What's your thoughts? We're going to come right back. Tech Talk. You know how we get down. Let's get it.
It's Tech Talk with Pop the Bearded One.
So let's get into this a little bit. It looks like Ferrari is out here. I don't know what they're thinking. Ferrari is out here now. For everybody that knows, they recently went with the 6, the twin turbo 6 on their newest Ferrari that just came out. Now, when they went with this 6, the one thing that they said was that they warred with it in their war room as to what engine they should be putting in this Ferrari. They said, listen, we already know, we should have the V12. So half the room wanted the V12 and then half the room wanted the V6 to twin turbo 6. And they said eventually they ended up going with the twin turbo 6 because it is superior to the V12. They said that the V6 twin turbo is superior to the V12. So I'm going to ask everybody that's tuned in, paying attention right now, car people all over the world, does Ferrari have a leg to stand on with that argument? Do they have a leg to stand on? And you know what? The more I started, researching and, just going in our own car knowledge and the things that we do know as far as autos are concerned, I'm not going to say he doesn't have he's wrong, because it's to me is not superior. There's no replacement for displacement. This is what we learned a long time ago, right? However, you do have some special situations out there. Let's think about some of these cars that we consider great that actually have a twin turbo 6 in it. And the first one that come to mind, the Nissan GTR. I mean, it's the supercar slayer. This GTR has definitely changed the way people definitely look at the twin turbo 6. Now, he said V6. The earlier models of the GTR didn't have a V6, had the inline 6. But now we talking V6, the VQ 3.8 that we were just talking about should have came in the Nissan Z. Shout to my guy Seneca. He said Ferrari Enzo is rolling in his grave. I know it's crazy, but I just can't believe Ferrari is like thinking that. Now, do you think they're doing this from a money aspect, or they really believe that a twin turbo 6 is better than a V12? And I mean, if you're spending that kind of money, is that really what you want? Like, did you just spend all this money to get a twin turbo 6? I mean, we talking, first off, they're all sold anyway, right? But to think that the 12 is superior, I just couldn't believe my own eyes. Like, when I read it, I couldn't believe it. It's like Ferrari is serious. And for that, you got to start to wonder, like I said, do they have a leg to stand on? And like I said, when you think about it, I mean, that's the only thing I could think of is that they thinking about the GTR. The GTR is really the only car that not only, I know there's others. We do have the older Super, but again, We're talking about inline six. We're not talking about a V6. They said V6. I don't want to mix it up and everybody's like, oh, you didn't mention this. You didn't mention this. They said twin turbo six. And we're definitely gonna read into it a little bit. Ferrari said they did consider retaining a naturally aspirated V12, but ultimately, the switch to a turbocharged V6 with forced induction proved to be an easy decision. And this came from Matteo Turconi, who is the senior product marketing manager. Right there, he kind of lost my respect because he's a marketing manager. They didn't say anything about him. They didn't say anything about him being a mechanic or anything of that manner, like where he's a real car guy. I would like to believe because he works for Ferrari, he's a car guy. Shout out to my guy Dave tuned in. You already know what it is. I would like to believe that he's a car guy, but he said it's a relatively easy decision. I don't know about that, but this is out of his own words. We're going to quote him on this one. You ready for this? He said, "We asked ourselves, should the new supercar feature the most iconic engine in Ferrari's history or take the best of racing for sheer performance? The question ultimately had a simple answer. Even if it didn't seem like it, we chose the second option," he says. "We took the best of racing, which today means a turbocharged V6 combined with a hybrid system." Wow. Shout out to my guy Seneca. He was right. Enzo is rolling 3 times. He says, so they competing with Porsche now. How you spending Ferrari bread in GTO and GT3 is what you're standing next to. But shout to Seneca. That's exactly what I'm talking about. What big cars are around? Like what cars are around and in that echelon? That Ferrari's in like I wouldn't say a class by themselves because obviously Lamborghini is there with them. But where else are we talking as a challenge? I don't know. It's very interesting. I just feel like I know where they're going with it. Obviously, it definitely helps their bottom line too. You cannot tell me that, it's cheaper to build a V12 or versus a V6 twin turbo. It is not. And on top of that, they was able to move the units. Now, this is not the first time that we've seen them use something other than the V12, obviously, right? The F40 had a V8, 288 GTO had a V8. Like, it's nothing new, but it's new for them to say that. Like, if they'd have just put a twin turbo 6 in there and just left it alone, you already know they'd have left it to the masses. The automotive world would have chewed them up for that. Like, how could y'all leave the turbo out? But did they do the right thing? Did they? And we already know that they teaming it with the hybrid system. So now that you teaming with the hybrid system, that makes up a little bit more power, and it makes it a little bit more how do we say? It makes it a little more government friendly as far as like being a gas powered engine that's hybrid. It does make its rounds around like what the government considers the specs of where we need to be. I just can't understand for the life of me how they're saying this though. Like, I just wouldn't have said it. If I was Ferrari, I would have left that alone. I would have left that alone. I don't think I would have definitely said it. Like, you know what? This is better. I can see everybody in the audience right now, and it looks like they're saying it. And although nobody believes it, they bought the car. Although nobody believes it, they bought the car. And I just can't believe it. It looks like now the V12 is pretty much going to be not on its way out because Ferrari said they will produce them. However, there's going to be like an option that you got to really be able to buy in order to afford. And like I said, when you think about it, I could think of 1 and 2 cars of where he's going. Like you said, the Porsche flat V6. You could or buy, like it's so many different ways. But for them to say the V6 is superior to the V12, I didn't think I would ever hear Ferrari say something like that. So I'm just gonna take it in a way of this guy is a marketing manager. He is not one of the guys that makes that actually goes out and races like Enzo did when he was alive, when he ran Ferrari. Like, it's just, this is the sign of the times. It's a sign of the times. And this is why I say Get your forever car. Your next couple cars need to be the one that you really gonna rock with. If it's gonna be a GT car, you're gonna make it roll worthy, or you're gonna race it, or you're gonna enjoy it. You got to get hands on it now, because soon they won't be around. They're gonna be selling you a 4-cylinder in a Ferrari and telling you that you're paying for, you're paying for the carpet, you're paying for the leather seats. No, it was always about the engine with Ferrari. It was always about the performance, the prancing horse. That's what it was about. So now you put a V6 on it. What's it going to be, the prancing donkey? I don't know. It doesn't have the same ring. It doesn't have the same ring, you know? And just like I said, to have just a V6, I mean, it's a Ferrari, though. It's a Ferrari, but just to say that it's superior, maybe in a weight class, because you figure the Ferrari V12, like maybe because of the weight, it's a little bit lighter. Maybe it doesn't weigh as much, so therefore it makes the car more nimble. We've seen that. We've seen cars be more nimble strictly because they have a smaller engine, or the engine is placed a different way. It brings me back to Ducati. The 1098, you know, like the Evolution motor that they had in there. At first, they was known for the V twins, but once they like positioned it as like an L, as they say, it made the motorcycle way more nimble, because, you know, throw it into the turns, and it made it a better bike. But they didn't knock the other engines, because now that's kind of what they're doing too. They're knocking the Ferraris that came before. When you say that the 6 is superior to the 12, you're knocking the cars that come with the 12. So you're trying to tell me that these cars are not as good. So even this, like they put a V12 in their SUV, in Ferrari's SUV. I figure that's where the twin turbo 6 would go. You know, you're gonna be driving it around with your family with a V12 in it. Like, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's amazing. It is amazing. Like I said, it has to be a weight thing. It's the only thing I could think of. So I don't know what Ferrari's thinking, but like I said, I can see some ways where they may have a leg to stand on, and the only one that they can stand on is that GTR, because that GTR dominates. It does. It dominates. I wouldn't say it dominates in the turns the way a V12 Ferrari would. These are only things that we could do now in Gran Turismo or something like that. They would never show us how these things were fair against a GTR. The only way we would see that is with time. Is with time attack, with time slips, to see how these cars held up against the cars of old. But I guess everybody that buys a Ferrari race, that's another thing. How many people that buy these Ferraris really race them? Really want to see that they're superior? Really are driving this car to save gas? How many of them are doing that? Nobody. I would like to believe if you're buying a Ferrari, you're buying a car with no roof. I was looking at the 488 Pista. Oh my goodness, just saying that, get my Italian right. I was looking at the Ferrari 488 Pista, and it's like, not that it had the 12 in it, but it's just, when you look at that car and you realize that a lot of these cars are they're roadsters. They don't have a top. You're not spending this kind of money on a car that has a top, because you live in an area where, you know what, it don't matter if I have a top. If it's raining, I'll drive something else. I don't park this outside. It has its own little spot in my garage. That's what you're saying. So when you see cars, see them saying stuff like this, I feel like they rolling back on their own brand. You know, I feel like Ferrari's rolling back on their own brand. They got to be careful with that, because at the same time, Lamborghini is at least they using the 8. I can't even believe I said that. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention, man. It's the Beard in One Hands. Rally Radio, we in the building. Shout out to everybody who's rocking with us. We ain't been back in a while, but we will be back every Saturday, 12 noon. You know where to find us, man. I'm glad to be back. Glad to be out here talking this automotive news with everybody. And like I said, I think that when it comes down to it, we're going to have a very, very, very good time for the weeks to come. But with that being said, the DuPont registry. Now, for all those that don't know, the DuPont registry, that means that shame on you. You haven't never looked at a car that you couldn't afford. And I don't know if I call you a car person. But the DuPont registry, pretty much, we all know they sell high-end cars, right? It looks like they're taking a page out of Bring a Trailer, and they will be having live luxury car auctions on their platform. This, to me, is the ultimate window shopping. I will be window shopping on DuPont Registry and looking at, I'm be like looking at the bids like, maybe if I sell my house, I could get one, but I'm definitely going to be checking it out. But it looks like the DuPont Registry is going live on their platform, and they will be having luxury car auctions. Now, Bring a Trailer to bring in full front. Bring a Trailer definitely set it off, and they do have a lot of high-end cars on their website as well, which is interesting. They have a lot of high-end cars there, but we talking about DuPont Registry. That's a whole nother animal. We talking about some of the rarest vehicles that you could probably get your hands on for sale. I don't know. I mean, that's going to be for those people in that class, if you could afford it. Those are the guys that drink with their pinkies up and all of that. But that's going to be the ultimate window shopping. Shout out to my guy, Seneca. He said, I'm going to drive up bits on stuff like that. That's what I'm going to do. Yo, you got to be careful, though, son, because you bid and you end up with the melon. Like, whoop. Now you put the bid up for $1 million. You went for $1 million and $1, and they was like, yeah, that's too rich for my blood. I can't do it. And now you stuck with it. Talk about a loan. You're going to be taking out a super loan. You're like, yeah, we need to borrow your house. But with that being said, I can't wait to see how this plays out. This is actually pretty good. I can't wait to see how this goes, but them launching is crazy. There's a couple bullet points that they actually had here too. They wanted people to know. It said 100% sell-through guarantee. Every auction is curated for success, ensuring sellers and buyers achieve optimal results. Exclusive access. Participation is by invitation only. Creating a trusted environment for high-value transactions. So in other words, they won't be letting me window shop. Oh, man, they lucky. It won't be like eBay. It said comprehensive listings. Each vehicle is represented with detailed information and high-quality photo galleries compiled in collaboration with the sellers. Now, like I said, the thing about buying anything, not sight unseen, but that you really haven't sat in a car, is that the photography got to be all that, and the information has to be detailed, especially when you're dealing with the cars that these guys are going to be selling. I mean, they're selling high-end vehicles, man. So you're talking about a one-off Ferrari or a Zonda, and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I need to make sure that the paperwork is right on this. So very interesting. I can't wait to see how that plays out. I will say, I will be there. I want to see what it's going to be like. So with that being said, shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention, man. You know how we get down, man. It's the bearded one in the building. We about to step on out of here and let you enjoy the rest of your day. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in. You know how we get down. But before we get out of here, we got one more thing we want to talk about, and that is going to be the understeer. Now, we all know that the understeer is definitely something we all see during the day. If you are doing something out there that you shouldn't be doing and you get caught doing it, we call it here the understeer. Check it out. Driver tries to get out of a traffic stop by handing a cop a Monopoly get out of jail free card. Now, I'm not going to front. We all thought about it. We all wished when we played Monopoly that the get out of jail free card really existed. It looked like this man was not trying to hear it. Said the officer got a good laugh out of it. Said he actually didn't haul him off to jail immediately for bribery. But he surely was like, listen, you may want to take that card and never, ever do this again. You may never want to actually show an officer this, but it's a very, they laughing, but they really could have put him in a bank for that. And I mean, you would think it's something simple. He hands him a get out of jail free card. He's like, so what are you saying? You're going to jail? I'm taking you to jail? Oh, man, you don't want no parts of that. So Do yourselves a favor, y'all. If you ever get pulled over, put your keys on the roof and don't hand them a get out of jail free card. That's all I understand. Don't ever do that. I don't know what he thought or why he thought that was actually worth it, but I wouldn't have did it. But shout out to everybody who's tuning in, paying attention. You already know what it is. The Bearded One here. We will be back. We will be back every Saturday. Shout out to Darth Spalding in the building. We're going to be back every Saturday, 12 noon. You know where to find us. This is Rally Radio, man. We definitely got a couple other things we're going to, do a little different. Just getting back to the studio, trying to get everything lined up, make sure everything we can bring the show back to be the best it can be. And don't forget, we will have phones next week. I will be putting everything out there so people could call up and let us know how you feel. With that being said, man, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. It's the Bearded One in the building. Y'all get out there and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And don't forget, automotive news, Rally Radio is where you want to be. We will be making our little live drops here and there during the week. We also will be posting a lot of different videos. Definitely got a lot of other builds that we will be doing as well. I will be finishing the Type R build. I will be finishing the Honda CRX build. And I got another little thing I'm working on right now. And it has a lot to do with my 2006 Suzuki GSXR 1000. This might be fun. This is going to be different. So with that being said, shout out to everybody who rocked with us, who paid attention. And with that being said, until next week, don't forget to like Rally Radio Podcast Instagram page. We out there. We trying to do the best we can. You know what it is. With that being said, until next week, I am out. Let's get it.
Drop the clutch, hit the gas. Rally Radio, where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Yeah.
You're now tuned into Bars and Hoops Radio. Where the world of hip-hop and sports live.
Dropping the clutch and then I hit the gas. Wheels screeching, tires burning, I'm flying past. Gotta get home quick, don't wanna miss the class. They schooling you on whips and how to make them fast. Talking about everything from cars to planes. What's hot, what's next, and how to flip the game. They talk in my language, we speak the same. That whip talk complex, but yet they keep it plain. From the news, the interviews, they keep it cool. They give reviews, everything from parts to tools. Can't lose, come to whips, they not no fools. Don't miss the show, the start time is noon. The Bearded One, S.I. Sean, they crazy though. You can't miss it, tune in to Rally Radio.